I'm Svenja, and it's truly an honor for me to be here with you today. And this is Stories Matter, my brand. I would say I understand our world through the stories of people and stories in general. And I started this brand with a mission to document the raw and complexity of human existence in all its diversity. And I desire my storytelling to be an invitation to find yourself in the human story, in our human story, and realizing the profound significance of your own narrative as part of the larger human story. And having been entrusted with so many people's stories across over the last years, that made me dive really deep into the art of responsible storytelling, seeking to value and respect and honor whoever is in front of my lens. So this is how this topic came about. And I'm going to start to tell you a little bit about my story. So one of the most significant things that happened in my story, I would say, that had a huge impact on my work is a very early encounter with death. I lost my dad when I was 14 to cancer, and I just found myself there not really knowing how to navigate this and not knowing to go where to look for inspiration. And so I developed this curiosity around how can we navigate topics like this as artists? How can we create art for people who are facing these very real things of life? And how can we bring inspiration into that? And that started this whole journey for me as a photographer, as an artist, to explore that question. I found myself in the north of Ghana, in Tamale, in 2019. With a friend, we were just visiting, and we stayed in this little village, and there happened to be a funeral when we were there. So we were invited to the funeral, and I have never seen people dance at a funeral before. I've never seen so many colors at a funeral before, and that really changed everything in my mind about the narrative I had on death. And that led me to asking this question: can death be beautiful? Or actually, this funeral showed me that death can be beautiful. And you can see the funeral down there at the bottom of the guys drumming. And then also the photo next to it is people dancing, which was another funeral that I got to witness last year in Accra in Ghana, a Queen Mom's funeral, which was very special. But basically, this has become like a major part of my work ever since then. So it led me to starting a photo series called Hereafter, asking people around the world the question what death means to them, and seeking to explore life's final chapter across different cultures, religions, backgrounds. So I started documenting different festivals centered around death, like Dia de los Muertos in Mexico, or went to the city of Varanasi, that is the holiest city of India, known for people go to die there, to live their final days there. Went to Orthodox Easter, Fasika in Ethiopia. I'm actually going to go again this year, also in May, which is all about celebrating, obviously, the story of Jesus Christ from death to life, which very much fits into this theme too. And one day I would love to put all of this together in a book, but this is a little glimpse into like my story as a photographer. So throughout that whole journey, seeking to respect the people in front of my lens and their culture and whoever I would encounter on this journey. I used to love to talk a lot about why stories matter, but at some point that's not enough. If we don't know how to tell stories with dignity. I found this article during the pandemic by Nana Kofi Akwa. I don't know if some of you know him, but the article is called "The Baggage That Lives With You Forever." And he really made me realize what a privilege storytelling is and what a responsibility comes with that because of that. And the article was on the ethics of photographing a pandemic. And he's saying that authority first begins with the word author. Like once you see a strong image, it stays with you forever. So whoever writes the story owns the power. And the article does a great job at highlighting all the damage that has been done for centuries within the photography industry and through colonial and Western gaze, of course, the unequal power dynamics that we find in this industry and how the continent of Africa has been portrayed so wrongly for so long, for so many centuries. And this has led me to like put a few questions together that I'm committed to asking myself before telling any story, to check my own intentions and wanting to prioritize the humanity of the people in front of me that whose stories I get to listen to and I get to document, which is an immense privilege. So I just wanted to share these questions with you today. Hopefully they are helping you to become a more responsible storyteller in relation to the in front of you. So our intention matters. Obviously, why do we want to tell a certain story? Is it to make us feel better about ourselves, or do we actually want to make a difference? What purpose does the photos we take serve? Are we using our privilege, if we have one, to perpetuate stereotypes, or are we working towards bringing them down? Context matters. Like, do we know the whole story? Like, have we learned about the history of our creative medium, for example, the camera? Have we researched about the history of the place we want to document? Do we know what current narratives exist already that are potentially damaging to this person's community? We would love to document, like, through which lens would this story be told best? Is it our lens? Is it someone else's lens? Respect matters. Are we approaching the story with the attitude of seeking first to understand? Are we showing up in a way that respects this specific person's culture? What is important in the specific culture we seek to highlight? Have we done our research job? Informed consent matters. Have we informed the people whose story we are telling about the story's purpose, the audience, and its final intended usage, where it's going to be shared? Have we considered bringing the whole community in the story crafting process? Are we creating transparency around the process? Are we compensating them, especially if we at any point financially benefit off sharing the story? Are we sharing the photo or the story with them personally afterwards? Connection matters. Are we first connecting on a personal level without any camera, notepad, etc.? Just, do we know their name? Do we explain what we are doing? Do we make them feel part of the creative process? How might we be getting in the way of the person feeling safe? This especially alludes to like a male-female dynamic as well. If it's sensitive stories, dignity matters. People are not projects. Are we giving the person our undivided attention? Are we respecting their boundaries and privacies in the storytelling process? What is the person comfortable sharing with? Would I or my community be okay with being represented this way? Are the people happy and proud with how they are being represented? The story the way we would want our story to be told? Are we defining people by their problems or by their aspirations and contributions? Representation matters. As I already mentioned, the question, like, is this our story to tell? Thinking about power dynamics, who controls the story, who benefits from the story, who profits of the story? Does the story fit their desired narrative? How do people want their own story to be told? Are our stories contributing towards dismantling power imbalances or keeping them the same? And then the last thing, which we already heard before already today as well, nuance matters. Are we truthfully representing a situation or story to educate our audience of the realities, complexities, and nuances of the issue we are advocating for? Is the story oversimplifying or sensationalizing the dynamics of the context, the personal experiences of the people involved? Does the story perpetuate stereotypes? So these are some of the questions I've collected over the years that have really helped me to constantly just desiring to become a better and more responsible storyteller. So I want to finish with some encouraging words for you all to go out and tell your stories. Your story matters is the message of my brand, because I really believe that it does. Every single chapter, every love, every loss, every trial, every triumph, there are people who need your story, who you are, your truest human self, the way you live your life, the way you see the world, the way you love, the way you think, your work, your craft, your passion, your reason for living, your ideas, your words, your experience, your questions, your dreams, what you believe in, your vision for what our world can and should be, your journey with all its twists and turns and moments in between. Your story is a gift to others, and owning your story is the bravest thing you might ever do. So what's your story is the question I want to leave you with. And there were some other words in the article of Nana Kofi Akor, which I really can recommend to read. That said, it's about time that Africa started telling her own stories, that we take ownership of our stories in very compelling and eloquent ways. The world won't have a choice but to change how they think about and see us. Photography is a critical part of our future, and that excites me. So, as a mosaic of cultures, languages, and traditions, let your narratives be a symphony that harmonizes these diverse elements, creating a powerful, unified melody that will transcend borders and create a new narrative for Africa.